of Alabama. You're either a Bammer or a Barner. This state, there is no in between. In this state, it's not just a rivalry. It's a way of life. Welcome to War Eagle Roll Tide.
Good evening and War Eagle.
Roll Tide.
And welcome to Season 2, Show 1. Took a little while to get it off the blocks.
David. We have finally been corralled and pulled into the same room.
You know, this started, I guess,
A long time ago.
passing notes back and forth on second and third all 30 years ago. And here we are with live microphones. That's scary.
That's technology's grand when two baboons like us can get on here and go back and forth. But let me correct myself. This is not the first time we've been in the same room. On the way down, I was thinking, what probably most of y'all don't realize is David's an Auburn fan. I'm an Alabama fan.
No. No.
And we're both very passionate about our team, and we communicate often about our passion. But there's only been two occasions where we've been, that I'm aware of, where we've been even in the same city when a big time game has played. One time was the Alabama Clemson National Championship,
And you weren't invited.
No,
You crashed.
you want to tell that story, and then I'll talk about the second time.
Yes, I would love to share that story.
Okay.
First of all, let's kind of set the table, then we're going to come to that story.
Okay.
I'm David Jennings. For those of you that may not know, this is Tony Burnham. I'm going to call him T-Bone. I'm the Barner. He's the Bammer. We're going to have a good time throughout the football season. 22 weeks is what we were scheduled to come out every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Certainly want to thank our sponsors, Josh Godwin with Popeyes, Camp 31 here in Bruton, and, of course, Bruton Medical Center. If you or your business entity would like to sponsor future programs, we would love to entertain that as well. Going to have a special guest a little later in the program, Harvey Updyke, set to call in. We'll see if we can make that make that happen a little bit later. But yes, this is War Eagle Roll Tide. We're going to celebrate the greatest rivalry in all of sports.
Bar none.
Yankees, Red Sox, great. Lakers, Celtics, great.
Nah.
Cowboys, Steelers, great.
Nah.
Auburn, Alabama.
The best.
It's the best.
The best.
It's the best. Of course, having Harvey on a little bit later has been met with a lot of reaction, some negative, some positive. We certainly expected that. We're going to use that experience with him a little bit later to maybe make a greater point to close out the program, but we do appreciate all of you being in with us. We are going out on several different outlets on Facebook. We are monitoring comments on the Bossman Productions page. If you were watching this on War Eagle Roll Tide, if you were watching this on BMP Sports, if you're watching this on a personal page, that feed will be available for about 15 more minutes. And then our executive producer, Ken James, is going to funnel everything to the Bossman Productions page. So if you have a comment and want to interact, we certainly encourage that. It has been our experience. The more interaction, the more fun we have. We have a little bit of an outline, but we're going to go where the flow takes us. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and also www.wareaglerolltide.com. So however you need to get in. Let's have a big time with it and talk some Barners and Bammers.
I love it. Applause for Ken James in studio. Is this A, B,
This
or
is
C?
B.
This is B. Okay, I have so many of them at Bossman Productions. What a fantastic studio, and him being the Wizard of Pause back there, going to control the buttons and control the tempers back there. So, like we put in a post.
Yeah, I hope that happens.
Yeah, like I put in a post, I think it was last week, we appreciate passion. We love to see that, but remember, young eyes are watching us as well.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the story. Back to the story. We go back and forth against each other regularly, Auburn, Alabama, but we very rarely end up in the same location to watch any games.
And that's by design.
By design. And it should have happened, was that a couple of years ago? Wait, hold on a second. Clemson just scored again.
Winning.
Son of a.
It wasn't that Clemson game, but it was a Clemson game.
I wish how I wish it would have been. No. It was when Deshaun Watson and Hunter Renfro.
It was when they scored, essentially on the last play of the game.
Last play of the game.
Okay, so.
And first of all, you were not invited to my house. I was getting ready to settle in. You called. You were talking to me like you always do. And you said, man, I wish we could just watch the game together. And I said, I'd give nothing more if that could happen. And you said, look out your back door, pal. And I look out there, and he's standing there with 7 Big Macs and a couple of 32-ounce soft drinks.
That was back before the diet. Yeah, you look good, by the way.
And he comes buffaloing in. He parks it in the recliner. I'm sitting in front of him. The game, if you remember, is going back and forth. We're watching it. I wasn't getting too excited as Clemson was having some success. To your credit, you were pretty even-keeled during Alabama's success. And then right there at the very end, Clemson scores. And it was just awkward silence. It felt like it was an hour. I was not going to turn around. You were kind of sitting at a 45-degree angle to my left, and I know what you're capable of. I was at Cherokee County. At Deshler. I know what you're capable of. I sat there, didn't say a word, and after what felt like an hour, you finally come out on me. Say it! Say it! Just go ahead and say it! Well, I said, "Oh no!"
Well, that was the second time.
Yeah,
of the 2 times.
Right.
I had already learned my lesson from the first time we were in the vicinity together. The first time, I can't believe I'm saying this. The first time was in 2013. What happened in 2013?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure you can remember. What happened in 2013?
I can't remember. Was that when your coach cried like a little baby to get some time put back on the clock, and then attempted a 74-yard field goal with a true freshman who hadn't made an extra point all year?
Yes.
And the rest is history.
And some claim I jumped off my roof the next day. Broke my leg.
Well, the next day, you're in the hospital with a broke leg, cleaning your chimney at 2 o'clock in the morning.
So, needless to say, people, if I lose my cool or break a bone, you know why. We're in the same room, and it's almost football season. Could you call it football season?
Yeah. Well, it's football season.
Okay. Well,
we're kicking it off around here tomorrow.
It's dangerous.
Yes.
It's going to be dangerous. So anyway, welcome in. We appreciate everybody. Roll Tide, Ed Tiepo, Trent Davidson. Former Bama player.
Yes, he is.
Going to have him on later on in the year to talk about some of his experiences up at the Capstone at the winningest national championship team in the history of college football. And I believe they were ranked out of the last 150 years the number 1 program.
That was in a ranking, yes. I saw that.
Well, it was the ranking that matters to me.
We're going to get into all those natties. We're going to get into all those at a later time. We are going to have a great time throughout the season. We encourage passion. We encourage pulling for your team. No holds barred in this one. If you get kicked out of the group, it's Facebook's deal. It's not ours. But to set things up, and of course we talked about being the preseason, like other news outlets or publications or whatnot, everybody does some preseason forecasting. I thought it might be fun to kick things off with us doing that. You and I had kind of decided to divvy up our preseason all-SEC football team. You're going to take the defense. I took a stab at the offense. We'll give our opinions on how we think it's going to shake out in the divisions a little bit later. And then maybe, just maybe, I'll throw out a top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah, I kind of done another program that was well received.
I know how you.
But I want to say this before you go, and we're going to do the defense first.
Okay.
I haven't seen your list. You haven't seen mine.
No.
I have a record of being a fair guy. I hope that you have been and will be as well. Mine's fair. Mine's statistically driven. Plus some having a high football IQ. I understand on a little different level than you do, but I'm anxious to hear who you're giving recognition to here in the preseason.
You might be shocked. You may actually be shocked.
I probably will be.
You will be. So tonight, Harvey Updyke.
A little bit later
on.
Yep.
That's going to be fun. Let's get into this. You want me to do mine now?
It's going to be something. Yeah, let's do it.
You want to do mine now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Defense.
So preseason defense.
Are you going with just 11 players?
I'm going with 11.
Okay.
Let me double count, make sure I have 11. Yeah, I think I've got 11. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna start in the back. I'm not gonna start with the big pretty guys up front. I'm gonna start with the little guys that run around in the back and don't like to really hit and like to just wear the spirit rags and run out of bounds and have their photo taken like they've done intercepted something and run it back. So
it's called secondary.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. I didn't play back there. I played where the real men played, down in the line. Ain't that right, Trent? So here's mine. Okay, so safety. Probably pick this guy more so because of his last name than his known ability. Because I'm a big name guy.
Okay,
you know me. I love coining nicknames for people. So Nigel Warrior, Tennessee.
He plays at Tennessee. Good football player.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love that last name.
UT.
Could you imagine just Warrior on the back of your shirt? And then also J.R. Reed from Georgia.
Two good choices.
Cornerbacks. C.J. Henderson, University of Florida.
DBU.
They always have great secondary play, great edge rushers, and they're getting back some pretty good linebackers.
Yep.
And you'll see them. I think make some noise this year in the East. Other cornerback, still kind of a baby, but Patrick Surtain.
Never heard of her.
University of Alabama. Yeah, you have, and you will more this year. Linebackers. Okay, now we get into the part on the field that I like, positions that I like. Jacob Phillips, LSU. LSU always has a just jam up great linebacking core, and it's going to be led by Jacob Phillips this year. Another guy on here from Georgia, Monty Rice.
Well deserved.
Georgia's going to be a really, really good football team, and when we get into our predictions later on this season, you may be surprised. Anthony Jennings from Bama.
Big name guy.
Really hated picking him because of the last name, but he has he's going to be a really high draft pick, I believe, and he's going to really be able to produce this year.
He's a monster. I'll acknowledge that. He's a monster.
And then Dylan Moses. Had pretty consistent play, hadn't really flashed any, but he could be not Derek Thomas, but a Derek Thomas type this year, I think.
Well,
so
yeah.
I think he's going to be a good player. All right, the big guys down front. I put this guy on here because, again, and I don't really know how to say his last name, but I liked it. And it's Justin Maldine from Texas A&M.
Yes.
Actually, he's a really good ball player.
Yes.
So, as you can tell, we kind of branch out of just Alabama and Auburn. We want to try to give y'all real football talk and guys to watch for. Raekwon Davis.
Monster.
He's
a monster.
Have you ever had a chance to see that guy in person?
I haven't, but I want to offer this, and he's a good football player, but I'm not sure his production to this point has matched what he has in him.
All of this is projected ability.
Okay.
And I agree with you.
Yeah, he's a monster.
That's why I kind of took a breath before I said it. I agree with you. If you were to watch him getting off the bus, I mean, he's check mark, no question, first ballot NFL Hall of Famer, all SEC, all whatever. I mean, he is that type of physical guy. He's been a little banged up and a little hurt. He just got well towards the end part of last year, and if he comes out healthy this year, I think he's going to make a big difference. Last two on my defense. And I put these two guys down there primarily because they stood near Shins Kennedy. For no other reason, because I think they're horrible. And that's Derek Brown and Nick Coe of Auburn.
Both deserving. Two good football players.
Both really deserving. And there could have probably been a third one on there.
Yeah.
But because he stood near Shins, I got to compare size, and it's just now.
Well, I will tell you were fair.
Thanks, Shins.
You were fair. Well, I wasn't positive you were going to be, but you were fair. Well, that's a good defensive team right there.
Well, if you'll notice, I'm not the one wearing the team logo. So I try to be impartial and talk real football.
Well, I did the offense.
Your turn, sir.
I did the offense, and I, too, was fair. One of the things I did notice after compiling my list was I was junior heavy. A lot of juniors, and wasn't by design. After I just put it down, I was shocked how many juniors showed up on this team. So I'm going to start with the bigs up front, and I'm going to start with the bell cow at Auburn, Prince Tega Wanago. He's a senior.
Big guy.
He is a senior. He's going to be a first-round draft choice. He has to have a big year for that Auburn offense to move. He will set the pace up front for the Tigers. Looking forward to watching him play. Andrew Thomas, a junior from Georgia. Georgia, in my opinion, from tackle to tackle, has the best offensive line in the SEC. And they're going to be represented here on this first-team line that I put out. But Andrew Thomas, one of the big offensive linemen there. And one thing that I did do that, and it was intentional, I didn't put a guy playing center this year. I just took what I thought was the 5 best offensive linemen, and I'll make one of them a center. I am going to recognize a center a little bit later. But so far, Prince Tega Wanago, Andrew Thomas from Georgia, another junior from Alabama, Alex Leatherwood. You talk about how you draw one up and want them to look like. Alex Leatherwood is a dominant football player. He's going to be draft eligible in the spring. He's going to be draft eligible in the spring. He's probably going to be one that's going to have a choice to make, I would think, after the conclusion of this season. So Alex Leatherwood, my third lineman. Another junior off that Georgia offensive line, Ben Cleveland. Going to be a third-year starter this year. Once again, the big boys up front between the hedges are going to cause a lot of problems and a lot of headaches throughout the fall. You can get ready for that. That's going to happen. And my last offensive lineman to round out the unit, a senior from Bessemer City High School here in Alabama, got away from both of us, Darrell Williams. Good football player. So 2 seniors, 3 juniors up front for my team. This is my stab at an all-SEC team, and I'm satisfied with those picks. Some of the other guys that I considered, there was a center from Kentucky, Drake Jackson, a little undersized, 6'2", 295. He's a junior as well. He's a good football player. He got some recognition at SEC Media Days. It'll be interesting to follow him. Mike Horton, a senior at Auburn, and Solomon Kinley from Georgia, another junior. So Georgia's sitting there with 3 juniors across the front. All 3 of them are going to have choices to make at the end of the football season, along with Alex Leatherwood. So it'll be fun to follow them and see how their season pans out. And for all these guys, you hope they stay healthy.
Yeah. Well, you know what's interesting
play their talents.
Is, you hear some of the big name schools, and you actually have a Kentucky guy on yours.
Yeah.
And I almost put Kentucky's got a linebacker, and I almost put him down, but he's kind of one of those tweeners and undersized, and it's hard to go with a known quantity. But as I started looking at some of the other lists that were out there and candidates and all that, one thing that I'm seeing now that I hadn't seen so much in the past, you're starting to see Kentucky pop up in the bit. So
and we're going to talk about them a little bit later as well. I did this reluctantly. I put a tight end on the team. So many teams now are going away from that in terms of a statistical producer.
Was it Trent Davidson?
It should have been.
Yeah.
But I got the guy from Georgia, Charlie Werner. He's a senior.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main reasons I did that.
Is he like a 10th year senior? Because it seems like he's been there forever.
And I'm going to tell you something. Their tight ends have been killing Auburn for 40 years. And they just break open. He will be the leading receiver in that game. You can just go ahead and book that. Charlie Werner, the All-SEC tight end on the BMP Sports Network page ballot.
I was really excited because I was watching Hard Knocks the other day.
Yep.
And guess who I saw on there?
No telling.
Who's coaching? The Hard Knocks is Oakland now.
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, Oakland.
I didn't know that.
Oh, watch it. It's on HBO. It's great.
I do yoga.
It's almost as good as Glow, the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling on Netflix. But watch it.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Renfro.
Okay. He's the Raiders?
Yes.
Wow.
And I was, let me tell you why I was happy, because if we do by some chance get to meet him again, we don't have to deal with that kid again. I mean, he tore us up. He tore us up every time he played us. It seemed like he was at Clemson forever, but anyway, I'm glad that he's gone.
Let's move on to the wide receivers. And I'm going to go ahead and say this and get out of the way so maybe I can wash my mouth out a little bit here kind of quick. And I think he's the best player in the SEC, honestly. I think he's going to be the offensive player of the year. Jerry Jeudy, Alabama, once again a junior. He has no decision to make after the season. He's gone.
Yeah, he's
going to be a top 5, top 10 pick, however they put value on the wide receivers this year in the NFL draft. Jeudy is the guy. I was talking to you about him a little earlier. For me, as an opponent watching Alabama, Julio Jones will always be the guy that kind of sets the bar as the wideouts. He was imposing. I thought he was he was a matchup nightmare. You had to account for him with 2 people, sometimes 3 people. I put Jeudy just under him, and he might be a better receiver.
Well,
he might be a better receiver. He's just not quite as imposing physically.
And this is not a knock on Julio whatsoever, because he's a great college player. He's a better pro player, I think, because he fits the system better, and he was a little more refined now. But and Julio was great. Julio. And even saying he started the wide receiving train in Alabama is unfair. They've had some really good wide receivers come through there in years past. But once they got Julio, that changed the whole dynamic for players. Right, serious skill wide receivers to come to Alabama.
Yeah.
Julio led that. And the guy you just mentioned, as long as some of the guys gone in the last 3 or 4 years, are every bit as good as anybody that's ever come through Alabama.
Jerry Jeudy.
He's good.
The leader of a great receiving corps there at Alabama, but he's my pick for SEC Offensive Player of the Year. Moving on, South Carolina, Brian Edwards, a senior, 6'3", 215. Matchup problem. Throw it up to him. He can play. He gives Coach Boom a shot every time they go out. He's another one, kind of like Julio, a poor man's Julio, if you will. He will have to be accounted for in the opponent's scouting report. You're going to have one, possibly two guys knowing where he's at all times. He's a game breaker. I really like Brian Edwards, South Carolina.
Yeah, he's good.
And then Justin Jefferson, another junior, LSU. He can stretch the field. He plays on the outside, world-class speed. LSU always seems to have one of those guys can go down and cause problems. Landry in years past, Odell Beckham Jr. in years past. Justin Jefferson, his uncle John Jefferson played for the San Diego Chargers for many years, so he has it in his bloodlines to do well, and he's going to be a big-time player down the Bayou for the Bayou Bengals. So Justin Jefferson rounding out the front liners of the wide receivers. Of course, Henry Ruggs III was given a lot of consideration. He's a great football player there at Alabama. And I put my guy, Seth Williams, in there. I think Seth Williams came on the scene last year as a freshman, had a big year for the Tigers. I think this year he's going to break out and probably move up to the cusp of that elite category. You have to do it on the field before the practice field is one thing. Do it on Saturdays, do it live and see what happens. But he's another one for Auburn who has to have a big year for that offense to really move. Henry Ruggs, once again, going back to him, also a junior, part of that talented group they brought in together. Devontae Smith, another one. Waddle's another one. But Ruggs, another likely early entrant into the NFL draft in the spring if he has the season this year and stays healthy like they expect him to have.
And Smith kind of gets lost in the shuffle. He only caught the winning pass in the national championship game, and you hardly ever hear him talked about. Waddle, I think Waddle is going to be a great player at Bama. So a lot of weapons up there. Too bad we only can throw one football at a time, because there's going to be some great talent not touching the ball on most plays up at Alabama.
Running backs. For me, this was the easiest.
I'm excited to hear who you've got.
This was the easiest because I think it's the weakest that it's been in years. From top to bottom, running backs in the league, I think there's some good ones. I think there's a handful of good ones, but the game has changed a lot, a little more perimeter-based. Very few teams get downhill, all the time. Statistically speaking, I think you will see a drop in running back production this year as opposed to years past. With that being said, there is one that is going to be a high draft pick. He's another junior. He plays between the hedges, DeAndre Swift. I have loved him for 3 years. He's played behind some really good backs there. Sonny Michel, Chubb, Holyfield last year. He's going to get a chance to be a 3-down back this year, probably catches the ball out of the backfield better than anybody in the country.
That's what I was going to say.
He is a matchup nightmare. I love DeAndre Swift.
He's not a down a distance type player. He's not a situational player. He's a player that can do it all and kind of come out and be a force.
And if you misfit with him, he's running out of the back of the end zone. He's gone. I love DeAndre Swift.
And he's big enough to block a linebacker too.
The other running back I put in there, and of course we saw him on a lot of preseason polls for the Heisman this year, Boobie Whitlow. I have him in as a second running back.
I don't know how many times I got texted about that.
Redshirt sophomore there on the Plains. I put him there, number one, kind of out of default because of what was coming back, was proven, and secondly, because of Cadillac Williams being now on the Auburn coaching staff, one of the former Auburn greats, the Mount Rushmore of Alabama high school football players, in my personal opinion.
You're right.
I think a little Tutelage there. Boobie's got the body. I think he runs with a tenacious spirit. I think that bodes well for them, for the Auburn offense moving forward. And a couple other guys that I wanted to mention, and I think this further gives credence to the lack of depth, if you will. Najee Harris is obviously going to be a great running back at Alabama. Colin Hill at Mississippi State, I really like him. I'm not sure who all he's going to have in front of him trying to move people out of the way, but he's a pretty good back. And then another Alabama guy, Theodore High School, LaMichael Perrine. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Pirine.
Like that,
he's a junior also there at Florida down the swamp, and I know that Coach Mullen will be trying to get him involved every way he can out of the backfield also. So
he may make a lot of noise because Mullen will lean on the running game a lot.
Yeah, he will. Yeah,
yeah. And who are they going to have the quarterback this year? Really, they can rely on and lean on. Don't you think they have to go to the running game a lot? Down there?
I like Felipe Franks. A lot of people don't. He probably of all the players in the conference, he probably has the most supporters and the most people who still question what I like Felipe.
To me, he's built like a relief pitcher.
I'm a big believer in him. I'm a big believer in him.
So,
and then of course the quarterbacks, and this was probably the hardest to choose. The running backs were probably the easiest. The quarterbacks were the hardest. And I'm going to tell you
why was it so hard for you?
And I'm
going
to tell you why. Okay. Because there are 2 frontliners, for sure frontliners, but then 3 through 11. They're all pretty good football players, in my opinion. I think Vanderbilt at 14, whoever breaks out and wins that contest is going to be the quarterback. But 3 through 13, you take the Bentley kid from South Carolina, you can win with him. I like him. I like Felipe Franks. I like Kellen Mines. I like Bo Nix. All those guys I think are serviceable quarterbacks.
Bentley kid went to Opelika, by the way.
He did. And I think you certainly have to be good around each of them. Burrow at LSU. I mean, if you're good around them, those guys are kind of the game manager types. They can make a few plays here and there, some with their legs, some with their arm. But I think it's a very deep quarterback class.
DJ.
Yes.
We are about to take it all off except for on the Bossman Productions page.
Okay. Right now, we are funneling everything to the Bossman Productions Facebook page. If you're watching on one of the other pages.
We're still going to keep YouTube and Twitter and all that going, but anything on Facebook is going to Bossman Productions.
Bossman Productions. If you're on one of the other Facebook pages, come join us over there. Quarterback. 2 quarterbacks, you can flip a coin. I flipped it, and it came up Jake Fromm.
State Farm.
Jake Fromm's a junior.
State Farm.
Jake Fromm's a junior.
State Farm.
He's going to have a chance to go next year and test the NFL draft waters.
He's good.
He's a really good football player. He'll be a 3rd year as a starter. He has done big things between the hedges. And, of course, the 2 guy could have very easily been him was Kellen Bryant, the Clemson transfer from Clemson to Missouri. And, of course, he can throw the complete route tree. He's a dual threat guy, and he's going to do well in the Missouri system. And that's how it shook out for me.
You're really big on those transfers, aren't you?
Hey, it's worked. It's worked.
So you give my boy 2-0 love. Just think, and I know you're a stats guy, and stats are for chumps, but just think if he would have played the 4th quarter of most games. Think of what his stats would have been then.
I'm just not real. I don't know. Oh, never mind. We've got a phone call coming in. Special guest Harvey Updyke on the line.
Go ahead with it, DJ.
Harvey?
Yes, sir.
War Eagle.
Roll down Tide.
Roll Tide, Harvey.
Harvey, we
there you go.
Appreciate you calling in tonight. And spending some time with us here on War Eagle Roll Tide. Not sure what all we can get into. We're not taking this opportunity to take any unnecessary jabs at you. I assure you of that. There are some questions we would like to ask. There are some things that we would like to know. And if at any point in time we get into an area that you're not comfortable with or don't think you need to proceed in, feel free to say so, okay?
Okay.
All right. Of course.
Before we get started, can I tell you something?
You sure can.
I don't lie unless I just have to.
Well, we'll try not to make you lie, Harvey. And I don't know if you know the premise. I don't know if you know the premise of the show, but DJ, who you were just talking to, he's the Auburn side, and I'm the Alabama side, and he wants to ask you a few questions, and then I want to ask you a few questions, and we hope to keep this entertaining and informative, and let you answer the questions to the best of your ability, and would like to see you become a regular on this show if that's possible, so you can call in and be part of our Facebook group and become part of our Roll Tide War Eagle family. How does that sound?
Sounds pretty good if I'm not in jail.
Well, we understand. I've seen some of the headlines recently, and I reached out to you, and I think Ken had reached out to you. And how's that going since you mentioned that?
Well, I'm supposed to be in Auburn October the 30th.
You give me
They got a new DA down there, and he said he's going to be a burr in my side. So
you going to have on your?
I really don't know how it's going to go.
You going to have on your school colors orange?
Do what?
You going to have on our school colors?
No.
It might help you, Harvey, and this is coming from somebody who often gets mistaken for you. I don't know if Ken can show the picture or not, but you and I had on a very similar outfit at one point, and they put up a picture of you, and my mother thought it was me for like a year or so. So,
boy,
but anyway,
you
Harvey,
must be good looking.
We're good looking guys, Harvey. I think David wants to ask you a few questions, so I'm going to turn it over to DJ and let him get in this and ask you a few questions.
Okay.
All right, Harvey, you have to imagine coming into this, there's going to be some uneasiness with this. Once again, it's not to take any unnecessary jabs or to pile on or to necessarily drag you through what you have probably been through the last several years. But as an Auburn graduate, I did take quite offense to your heinous act after that 2010 Iron Bowl. That was not cool. I don't think. Hold on a second, Harvey. Give me 1 second, please. I'll swear to you, I'm gonna give you your time. I don't think for a second that you were representing the University of Alabama fan base. I think it was your deal. But what I want to get to, if we can, is what led to that. What stirred that in you to think that was a good idea and to think that would kind of level the slate, so to speak.
Well, that's real easy. That had a lot to do with y'all cheating.
Cheating?
Yes.
We played at Updyke Stadium. What are you talking about?
Well, y'all bought Scam Newton.
Look, the fact that his daddy's church was framed up in osmose wood has no. I mean, that's just a coincidence. It's yellow wood.
Yeah, right. And he bought him a brand new truck out of that $150,000 to $250,000.
Harvey, we spotted y'all a 27-point lead.
I saw the game. I was there.
Did you have on your Letterman's jacket?
Don't remember. I probably did.
Did you have on your elephant trunk hat?
I don't know if it's that game or not, but I know the picture you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, we spotted y'all a 27-point lead at Updyke Stadium, and we came back and won that game fair and square. Granted, our quarterback was a big reason we came back. Cameron Newton, in my opinion, you'll probably disagree with this, is the greatest college football player in the history of the game.
Wow.
Who would you go with, Stedman Shealy?
Boy, it sounds like you're hacking on me.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking you.
I can name you 15 or 20 better than him.
Okay.
Okay. Tim Tebow.
Good football player, no doubt. I'll accept that.
I'll tell you one is 50 times better than him.
Who?
Julio Jones.
Good football player. I'll accept that.
You don't think they're better than him?
No, I don't.
He has no class. You got to admit that. He has absolutely no class.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He stole the laptop when he was in school and got suspended.
He alleged.
Okay,
He was a young man that made a mistake, Harvey. Are you going to tell me he should be penalized for the rest of his life for it?
Well, they penalized me for the rest of my life.
Well,
I had just found out that my wife had cancer.
Back during this time? I'm sorry to hear that.
And it was a very dark time in my life.
I understand.
We were driving from Dadeville, Alabama to Birmingham, Alabama every day so she could get chemo. And then I have a good buddy named Wayne Barnes. We went to high school together.
Okay.
I played football, and he was the manager.
Go to high school where this show is originated. Right. We're kind of neighbors. Now,
let me tell you something.
You spent some time in Bruton, didn't you?
Yes, I went to school up there.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you this. I'm sorry to hear about your wife, but it seems like ex-wife. I'm sorry, but it seems like that you have a burr under your saddle for Cam Newton. Now, I'm not a Cam Newton fan. I'm a Bama fan, as staunch as any. But and I was distraught after that game, and I'm not a fan of Cam Newton. And I have some of the same beliefs about some things that you do, but I don't think, and other Alabama fans probably feel the same way you and I felt. But what made you, other than the grief you were going through, there had to be something more that would make you step over that line from passion to actually drive there, because it's not just a 10-minute drive from Dadeville to Auburn. I mean, so what was going through your mind when you were driving over there with the poison in your vehicle? And walk us through that if you don't mind.
Well, some idiot taped a Cam Newton jersey to Bear Bryant's statue.
It looked like it fit like a glove.
Well, okay.
If it had been a different jersey number, would that have mattered, or the fact that a jersey was on Coach Bryant's statue, was that the trigger point?
They shouldn't even touch the statue.
Okay. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
Okay, when that happened, I kind of lost. I admit that. I did some things that I shouldn't have done, and I admit that.
How much time went by when you found out the jersey was hung from when you actually started driving to Auburn? How much time went by?
I don't know. I'd say a couple weeks. I would stay up all night long. Back in that time, they had cameras on Toomer's Corner. And I would sit there and write down how many cars passed by so I could figure out when was the best time to go over there.
Okay, so...
And I come with the conclusion that the best time to go over there was about 4 o'clock on a Sunday night.
So Monday morning, you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
Well, let me ask you this. Because I know a little bit about your background. You were a lawman in Texas.
Yes, I was.
Upheld the law.
I got shot at 4 times.
And the things I've read about you is you're a pretty law and order type guy. So when what I'm trying to get my head around, because I'm the same kind of fan you are, and we've got a lot in here with us now, and there's a lot throughout the world and in the state. I'm just trying to figure out how you went from being pissed off, which I was and a lot of other people were, that not only that we lost the game, but something was put on, it was felt like a slap in the face. But how did you go from being pissed off to taking criminal action? I mean, and then why would you call in and give yourself away to the show?
Okay, you're not going to believe this.
I will.
But I've told a lot of people this. I wanted the Auburn fan base to hate me as much as I do them. I didn't want to go down there and poison that thing. And then, because if you read Too Late for the Tumors, people need to Google Too Late for the Tumors. Their own people saying they would be dead in 5 years. I just speeded it up a little bit. Do I wish I hadn't done it? Yes, because it's ruined my life. I've lost a daughter over it. I've lost grandkids over it. I've lost some really, really, really close high school friends over it. So,
well, I have to ask this question, Harvey, if I can. I'm having a hard time drawing a parallel between taping a football jersey to a statue and transporting poison to kill trees.
Okay. There's something we're not even talking about.
Okay.
What about all the Auburn fans that go to Birmingham and pee on Bear Bryant's grave?
Does that happen?
Yes, it happens. Happened a lot.
I was not aware of that, and certainly wouldn't stand for that either.
Never heard that before.
I have not.
I would imagine most of the Auburn fans who were alive during Bear Bryant's heyday have catheters by now. So if that did happen, I'm sure it was an isolated event. But most of the kids that are Auburn fan and coming through that has that kind of piss and vinegar, forgive the pun, they probably don't even know where Bear Bryant's buried, and don't think of him as an actual figure anymore. He's been gone so long. So I don't. I'm gonna keep saying this, Harvey, because it's the truth. I'm as big Alabama fan as you are, and I find it very difficult for me to take that leap. And one of the things I keep hearing here is it sounds like you keep putting the blame on Auburn for what you done instead of saying, hey, I made a mistake. I need some redemption. Everybody can be redeemed. We're not going to get into the Bible, but everybody can be redeemed, and one person can do that. But you can also redeem yourself here. And that's one of the opportunities we wanted to give you with just coming out and saying, this is why I did it. But it sounds to me as an Alabama fan, and I really wish that it didn't sound this way to me, but it sounds like you're blaming Auburn, whether it's they rolled him when he died, which is what you told Paul Feinbaum, rolled Toomer's corner and Bear Bryant died, which I don't know if that happened or not. Urinating on his grave. That if that did happen, Harvey, that happened so long ago, it shouldn't be relevant anymore.
What do you mean? It didn't make any difference how long ago it happened. It happened.
But you're saying that, and you're not, and you're not willing to forgive. Yet you went on Paul Feinbaum's show and asked for forgiveness for something. I don't know if that happened or not. Urinating on his grave.
Yeah, but did you hear what all I said when I did it? I said, I want to apologize to the Auburn fan base. It happened. That really, happened.
You're saying that, and you're not.
I'm not getting on here and apologizing to everybody because I got hit in the face with a 2x4.
Yeah, you got death threats as well, is my understanding.
Yeah, and my grandkids got death threats.
Yeah. And that's serious. And obviously what you done was serious, and it inflamed a lot of emotion and a lot of anger in Auburn people, rightfully so.
But I want to say this. There was definitely hurt at and around Auburn, but like Auburn always does, we came out on the other side stronger. So if the goal was to hurt Auburn, you failed in that regard. And I'm sure that probably stings just a little bit.
No, but I'll tell you one thing, and I hope you admit this.
Okay.
Auburn made money off me poisoning those trees.
In what way?
They cut them things up in little bitty squares and had them put in a nice presentation box and sold them for $75 to $100 a piece.
Did you buy one?
I know my bail bondsman bought me one.
So
I got it here at my house.
So you have one. You have.
Yes.
You have a piece of the tree that you killed.
Yes. Jimmy Henderson from Auburn. He's a bail bondsman. He's got all this stuff is bright yellow, and I think it's AAA Bonding Company. But
That's
the
not a bad
man's
look.
name is Jimmy Henderson. He bought me that, and I've still got it today.
All right, well, I asked a question earlier because I'm interested in you. I really am. I'm for a lot of reasons. Redemption being one of them. You being able to talk to the Auburn people being another reason I'm interested in having you here. But the main reason I'm interested in you is you seem willing to talk and you seem honest in what you're saying. And I want to nail down, and David, if you've got another path you want to go, let me know. But I want to nail down. I want to take you back to the time when you bought the poison and you were driving to Auburn. That's a how long drive from Dadeville?
Probably 35 minutes.
So you had plenty of opportunities. You had plenty of parking lots, gas stations, and turnarounds to be able to turn around and head back to Dadeville. And you chose not to. What was on your mind when you were making that 35, 40-minute drive to Auburn? Was it revenge?
Can I change the subject for just a second?
You sure can.
Okay, I don't know if y'all know or not, but I am extremely sick now.
I did not know that.
3 days ago, I fell 9 times. The last time I fell, I hit my head on the asphalt, hurt my back, and I know the Auburn fans are laughing now, but
no, I guarantee you that there are plenty of Auburn fans, Harvey, who will pray for you.
Well, I need prayer. I really do. I went to 3 different hospitals in less than a month trying to get my feet and legs well so I could walk. I was retaining so much fluid, and I'm still retaining fluid. So, seriously, I don't think I'm going to be around very much longer. Then everybody will be happy.
No, we won't be happy because we want to form a relationship with you, and we want you to be a part of the War Eagle Roll Tide family, and we want you to see there's a healthy, positive way to be involved in this rivalry. And we can get upset and we can get mad at our brother Auburn fans or sister Auburn fans, but Sunday morning that's gone away, and I think that's a point that you need to get to, Harvey, because if something does happen, Lord forbid, you don't want to go with the stigma and the guilt in your mind and heart of the things that you've done. You obviously think the Auburn Nation hates you, and I'm sure some do. There are some who probably just heard you and you described your medical ailments, and they will be some of the first people on their knees praying for you.
There are some people from the Bama Nation that hate him.
There are.
Yeah.
And Harvey, I'll tell you, I was embarrassed when you done it because I caught grief from this guy sitting over here beside me. Because when you did that, it was a representation to Auburn people that was an Alabama fan. And so it was a bad mark and a bad look on the university that you love so much, on the football team that you love so much, and the fans that you don't even know who love the university just like you do, but have never been to that place. But that's why I want to figure out how did you get to that place? And you had plenty of opportunity to turn around in that 35 or 40-minute drive. Why did you choose not to turn around? Why did you choose to continue going?
Because just like I've said, I was upset. I couldn't figure out anything else to do to get back at them.
And it all stemmed from the jersey being on the statue?
Well, that, being on Bear Bryant's grave, rolling the trees when Bear died in 1983.
I'm not sure that happened.
Harvey.
See, that same thing Paul Feinbaum said.
Harvey.
Hold on. Speaking of, you said Paul Feinbaum.
Wow.
How was the Feinbaum show?
I don't watch that nut anymore. All Feinbaum cares about is Feinbaum. I'll tell you what, he's like an outboard motor in a cesspool, because all he does is stir crap. I ain't got no use for him. If you can't do something from him, never mind. I'm not going to give him any more publicity.
He don't have trees in his yard, does he?
Did you receive compensation for going on that show?
No. I didn't receive nothing.
Nothing?
When they came over and did that piece, Roll Tide War Eagle, guess what I got out of it?
What?
I got a Quiznos sandwich.
Oh, we got that beat. Cola. We've got that beat, Harvey.
You got a Quiznos sandwich.
We've got a great sponsor, and it's Popeye's Chicken, and they have the best chicken sandwiches that you will ever have.
Oh, I love Popeyes.
I want to get this straight.
Try their new sandwiches, Harvey.
I want to get this straight. You willfully participated in the ESPN 30 for 30 Roll Tide War Eagle, and all you got out of it was a Quiznos sandwich?
Yes, sir. Wow. That is, I swear on a stock of Bibles, that is all I got.
You were looking for Cam Newton type money, weren't you?
I didn't want it the way he got it.
Well, we don't know that he got it that way, or that he got it at all.
Wow.
Well, yeah, we can't say things, Harvey, that we don't know.
Let me ask you this, but I want to go back to that and the hatred for Cam, and I get it. I mean, to a degree, I get it. But was it Cam's fault that Mark Ingram had a 40-yard fumble after he'd been run down by a defensive tackle? Was that Cam's fault?
Wow.
Was it Cam's fault when Trent Richardson
Boy,
dropped
y'all are really enjoying hacking on me tonight, aren't you?
No, we are not.
I'm in the same boat with you, Harvey.
We've been fair with you, Harvey, and you know that.
I'm in the same boat. I don't like hearing it either.
I'm just trying to.
You know how many times a week I've got to listen to the kick six from this guy, Harvey?
It was just last year.
Come on, man.
Which David has a lot of trees. I can give you his address, Harvey. There's a lot of trees in his yard.
Well, you can go down there and pee on one of them.
Harvey, you're living where now? You're living in Louisiana. Let's just say that, right?
Yes, sir. They run me out of Texas.
Okay. So you're a Florida boy, educated in Milton, Florida, somewhat educated in Lower Alabama, in our hometown in Bruton. Went to Texas, was a lawman in Texas.
I finished up at Stephen F. Austin in Nacogdoches.
Okay, so you finished your education in Texas, settled down there, become a lawman for the state of Texas. How did you become an Alabama fan?
He had to take
When I was about 7 years old, I was laying on a Sunday. I was laying in front of the television. My mother was ironing, and we was watching the Bear Bryant show. Their sponsors were Golden Flake potato chips and Coca-Cola. And I told her right then, I said, Mother, if I ever have a boy, I'm going to name him Bear Bryant Updyke.
I love it.
She looked at me. She said, do what? I said, yeah. I said, I respect him more than I do anyone. I said, he makes the players go to church on Sunday, and he makes them call home every week.
Don't forget to call your
he's
mama.
a grandfather figure. All he cares about is his players.
Well, what do you think the Bear would have thought about you poisoning the trees at the Cal College?
I'd be disappointed.
Yeah. Did that ever cross your mind? Did that ever cross your mind when you were driving down 280?
What do you think Pappy Price would have thought about it?
Who?
Coach Price.
Mike Price?
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't there long enough to think anything.
He would have said it's rolling, baby.
Huh?
No, he would have been too busy down in Pensacola. Where was he at in Pensacola? Or Babes. Yeah. I mean, so did the Bear ever cross your mind when you had how many gallons of Spike 80 did you have?
4.
And how much would have actually killed the trees?
Sir, listen, I'm not a chemist. I know I messed up. They told me that I nearly poisoned the water table. I shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I would give anything if I hadn't have done it.
Well, look, we're not going to stretch you out and flog you here. We're just trying to get into the mindset, and we're trying to help you redeem a little bit and let people understand and having, and not coming through Paul Feinbaum's cesspool, as you called it. We're fair. We play around a lot. We take shots at each other. Me at Auburn, him in Alabama, and have been doing that for 30 years in the right way. And that's why I'm so interested and fascinated with the mindset of that. And I think I kind of understand where you were at. What I'm having a hard time understanding is what you were saying earlier in the interview when you were blaming it on people peeing and blaming it on Cam Newton and blaming it on everything else. When what I would have felt great about would if you would have said, I messed up. I let my passion.
I've said it 4 or 5 times I messed up. I want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you know who Pat Dye is?
I sure do.
Okay. What about him telling that guy one of his players wanted to keep on getting paid? And Pat Dye said something like, I'm ad-libbing now, but, something happened, and Pat Dye told him, keep it down home, cuz.
Was that Pat Dye or Larry Blakeney?
About this.
Well, I'm not a chemist.
Sir?
Was that? I think that might have been Larry Blakeney that said that.
It was.
I don't think so.
It was
I
Larry
think that might have been Larry Blakeney. But here's the deal. Let me ask you this question. Do you know who Pat Dye is?
I'm afraid so.
When is the last time he walked the sideline as Auburn as their head coach? What year was that?
It's been a long time ago. But I tell you what, he probably still today has a lot to do with what's going on at Auburn. Doesn't he still have my office on the campus?
Well, I mean, I'm sure he does. He's done a lot for that university. Him and Terry Bowden were two best coaches Auburn ever had. Well, Gene Chizik. I would rank Gene Chizik number 1, Terry Bowden 2, and Dye 3.
Come on,
Dye maybe 4. Tuberville's in there somewhere. If he wins this election, I'll put Tuberville at 1. If he'll come
Winning.
But okay, let's skip a little bit here. What do you think? What do you think about the recent goings on at Alabama under Nick Saban in the championships, and more importantly, what do you think about the Alabama Clemson game last year? Did you get a chance to watch that, or were you in jail at that time? When did you get out?
No, I wasn't in jail.
When did you get out?
I had a free ticket to ESPN gave me no, I'm sorry. No, he didn't. My son, one of my sons, was working for somebody. He's a building contractor, and he had given me 2 tickets to go to the Clemson game, but I would have had to pay my own airfare.
Did you name him Bear Bryant? Is that the one you named Bear Bryant? Is that the kid you named Bear Bryant? Is that your son?
No.
You do have kids with Alabama names, though, right?
Yeah, I've got Bear Bryant. I've got Crimson Tide. And my baby daughter.
Didn't you want to name one of your kids Alabama?
No, I wanted to name Megan. I wanted to name her Alabama. But her mother wouldn't have nothing to do with it, so we named her Megan Mariah.
That is so funny because that's what Ted wanted to name him.
Shame on her. Hey, Harvey, I'm getting some info here. Hold on a second. Clemson just scored again.
Come on, man.
You are so funny. But look,
please put that in a bite. Please put that in a sound bite, Ken.
Wow. I'm going to tell y'all something.
I will.
I am not as dumb as I look.
No. And
you look just like Tony, so I'm going to question that, okay? You guys are spitting images of each other. I'm going to text you a picture of Tony.
Can you see the show? Can you see the show? Can you see the show, Harvey? Can you see the show? I've said that like 10 times. Can you get on Facebook? Do you have a Facebook? You've got Facebook. I know you do.
Yeah, I've got Facebook, but
well, get on there. You need to log in. Get the Wizard of Paul's back there, Ken James. He's got your contact info. You need to log in and rewatch the show, and the picture's being put up. Picture's up right now. My mother thought.
Yes, sir.
My mother thought that you were me at one point, Harvey.
I mean, look.
We are 2 good-looking dudes, but that's about where the similarities end.
I think it's funny, Harvey, that you and Tony are never in the same place at the same time.
Well, I want to ask y'all something.
You go ahead. I'm not a chemist.
Were y'all 2 players? Were y'all players in high school?
Oh, yeah.
I was a player.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, Ken played the trombone. David played the bass drum, and I played the flute.
I played offensive right guard and a little bit of defensive middle linebacker.
Harvey. Where'd you play at? Milton? Did you play at Milton?
Yes.
I would have tore your ass up, Harvey.
Yeah.
You better be glad you didn't have to go against me. Y'all wouldn't even play T.R. Miller, Harvey.
The only thing y'all tore us up in was baseball.
Harvey.
That's because y'all wouldn't play us in football.
Harvey, this is Ken. I have a question, and I don't mean to jump in between DJ and T-Bone because they're obviously Popeyes has been good to them tonight, and you can tell it. But earlier today when you and I spoke, you told me that you got a Quiznos. The only thing you got out of being on Firebomb was a Quiznos sandwich and 8 month jail sentence. Now, I would love for you to say that. I would love for you to tell the people that.
I'm sorry. I must have misspoke. I guess I was like Hillary Clinton. I must have misspoke.
Man, you
'Cause
have
I
more
was
in common
only
than I
in jail
thought,
for
Harvey.
6 months.
How long you got? What? Say it again, Harvey.
I was only in jail for 6 months.
Okay, so you got say that for us then.
What did you get out of? What did you get out of it? You got a what?
That's just a hockey season.
I got a Quiznos sandwich and a Pepsi Cola.
And what else?
6 months in jail. And let me tell you what happened when I was in jail.
Harvey, I would fire your agent tomorrow.
Harvey. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Well, y'all having a good time, aren't you?
Harvey, this has been most entertaining. It really has been. I want you to be a regular caller on here. Would you be willing to do that?
I gotta have more than a Quiznos sandwich.
Oh, we got a whole tray of Popeyes up here.
Platter of Popeye
No, you
sandwiches.
don't.
Yes, we do. Go back and watch the show, like I told you, and you'll see them. We got the regular ones and the hot and spicy. And let me tell you,
I like the hot.
Yes,
I like
sir.
the hot and spicy.
Yeah,
but you know what I really like?
they're good. Boy, I'd kill a tree for one of those. I mean, I'd
me
do it
too.
a lot of things.
Hey, I love the red beans and rice.
Do you now?
Yes.
David's doing
Yes,
keto.
every
He
time
can
I
have
go by
rice.
Popeyes, I'll get the red beans and rice before I will the chicken.
Well, listen, do you know football when you sit down and watch it? I mean, can you like break it down and be able to come on here and give us your opinion of how Alabama and Auburn played each week?
Probably not.
Well, Harvey, I got some bad news.
Yeah, you would have never been a starter at T.R. Miller, Harvey.
I got some bad news, Harvey.
Wow.
Clemson just scored.
Wow.
Clemson just scored again. My goodness.
Do you know how many times I've heard that, Harvey, since January? Do you know how many times I've heard that or gotten text that randomly out of the blue? A bunch.
Hey, guess what happened to me about 6 months ago?
There's no telling.
I was going to the movie.
Did it involve jail and anything slippery?
No,
Okay.
but I was going to the movie, and I seen this guy standing out front. He had a damn Clemson jersey on. I said, look at that sack of crap. I went inside. This place is a real fancy theater.
Come on, it's a
And they
Carmichael.
assign you seats.
Yeah.
What?
You
What?
can't
What
sit in
now?
where you want to.
Seats
You
reclined.
went to a theater with seats reclined?
Where what?
Were the seats reclined?
Yeah, they recline.
You're kidding. I don't even have a chair in
No.
my house that'll do that.
So I went in there and sat in my seat, and I was 2 from the end. Guess who sat right next to me?
That guy in the crappy Clemson shirt.
The guy in the Clemson sweatshirt.
At any time. Wait. First, what movie did y'all go see?
Oh, I don't know.
The Lion King.
Probably.
I don't want to lie to you,
You don't remember what movie you were seeing?
sir.
You don't remember what movie it was you were watching?
No, sir.
Remember the Titans?
That's one of my favorite things to do is go to the movie.
Crimson Tide.
Yeah.
Everybody's All-American. Risky Business. Rudy. I'm just trying to name football games. At any point during this movie, did he get up and go to the bathroom and leave his popcorn unattended?
Coaches
Auburn never
Who is
had.
that? No, I don't know. Hey, why is my phone beeping?
I'm not a chemist.
Do you have a call waiting?
Oh.
That's when somebody else is calling you while you're on the line. It'll beep and give you an indicator.
Hold on just a second.
Kind of
Let
like
me-
elevators do when they get to the floor you're supposed to get off on.
Yeah, somebody is calling me. My ex-wife.
You don't need to talk to her. We're more important, Harvey.
Nah.
You probably owe her money
He
anyway.
stole a
Just-
lot of money from me.
There you go. Stay on the line.
Never
brother.
had.
Yeah, I had 3 ex-wives.
Wow.
I didn't date much, but I married everybody I dated.
So you dated 3 times?
Probably.
Do you roller skate, Harvey?
I have.
What years?
Let me tell you a sad story real quick. It won't take me but a second to tell it.
You got all the time you need, Harv. Go ahead, Harv.
When I was in high school, when I was a senior in high school, I took this girl out on a date, and over the next couple weeks, she raped me 6 times.
Harvey.
And she kept on saying she wouldn't do it no more.
Harvey.
What?
Harvey.
What?
I find it really hard to believe that any woman, first of all, would have to forcibly do that to you. Second of all, would want to forcibly do that to you.
Did you see my picture when I was in high school?
Just like Tony.
Yeah, there's been one floating around. You had a pencil protector and some glasses on, I think.
Hey, hold on for 1 second.
Sure.
Harvey, if that's that rotten ex-wife, we're going to hang up on you.
I'm not going to talk to her.
All right. Is that her again?
Yeah.
Tell her, just text
I got my
her.
nephew over here.
Text her. Hey, text this. Say, new phone, who dis? That's all I got to do.
I don't know how to text.
Oh, you can't text? So you're not going to be any fun on Wiggle Roll Tide this year on our Facebook page.
Okay.
Get on it. You need to get on it so we can have some fun. But you're going to have to learn how to text. I think David has another serious question. Can we get serious for a minute, Harvey?
I'm always serious.
All right.
Harvey, is as upset as you were in 2010 after Auburn spotted Alabama 27 points at Tubby Denny Stadium.
Wow.
And came back and broke your heart. No Sweet Home Alabama that night. I want to know what your mindset was after the Kick 6 game.
Good question.
I mean, what was going through that rattle trap after Chris Davis ran 109 yards?
First of all, Harvey, he stepped out at the 40. He stepped out at the 40, Harvey.
You're not going to stop, are you?
I'm just asking a fair question. I'm not a chemist.
Wow. You are not happy unless you're not hacking on me.
No, I'm not. That's a fair question, Harvey. We've been very open and forthright here tonight, and that's a fair question. If that game in 2010 led you to that, what was your mindset after the 2013 game? I mean, that was equally as painful, I would think.
It made me jump off my roof, Harvey.
No, it wasn't as painful as the Scam Newton game.
Mm-hmm.
They were both equally important. I think we were both ranked number 1 at that time, weren't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it was the fact that it was Cam.
It was Cam.
And it was at Bryant Denny. And that it was, again, something that they had done to your father figure, Bear Bryant. Tell me if I'm right about that. I mean, I don't want to put notions on you, but does that sound right?
Yeah, but let me tell you something else. That Paul guy, I don't want to say his last name.
I understand.
When I told him about Auburn students rolling the trees when Bear Bryant died, he said he did not believe me.
It didn't. That didn't happen.
He didn't say. Now I listened to the interview, and I actually heard it live, but I listened to it again. He didn't say he didn't believe you.
Said that's hard to believe.
He just said he just questioned whether or not it happened. He believed what you were saying, that you read that. He was just saying that he didn't know if the reporting was accurate or not, because he'd never heard that, and he was covering the whole beat at the time. So that's what he was saying. And I know you were probably in an upset state whenever you called him, which leads me to this: why would you have chosen to call? Because that one phone call has ruined the rest of your life. Well, actually, the one action you did ruined your life. But if you never would have called, chances are you never would have got caught. Why did you feel it necessary to call Paul and say that? Were you trying to inflict pain on the Auburn people?
No, I've already answered that question.
I don't remember you answering.
I wanted the Auburn fan base to hate me as much as I hated them. Okay. But let me tell you something. I am sorry I did it. I've been going to church a lot. I have a different attitude. I have learned to forgive. Like I said, I repeat myself. I lost a daughter over it. I've lost grandkids that I can never see again.
What daughter? Was it Crimson or Ty that you lost?
No, Crimson.
Okay.
She won't have nothing to do with me. She won't even talk to me on the phone. A lot of that has to do with her mother.
Have they taken steps to become anonymous, like by changing their names?
No, but her mother said that that's the worst thing I could have given was my last name. And she's the only person in the world that I would like to hit in the face with a shovel.
Other than Cam Newton, probably, right?
No, I don't want. I don't want to hit Cam Newton.
Okay.
I just hope he has a horrible year.
Well, he probably will.
Why are you such an angry person, Harvey?
I'm not angry. I'm happy.
You don't sound like it.
You kind of sound fluctuating a little bit, Harvey. And we're talking to you as bros, man. That's what we're doing. This is ain't nobody watching us anyway. So we were just talking to you as bros. Me, an Alabama fan, him, an Auburn fan, and I can tell you what I've heard as an Alabama fan. I've heard you kind of be on both sides of the fence tonight, and that's just real. That's just real talk. You're in law enforcement. You're used to giving it to people straight, and that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to give it to you straight. You've been on both sides of the fence. You've demonstrated anger towards Auburn, and you've said that it's everybody's fault but your own. You blamed Auburn. You blamed their fans. You blamed Cam Newton. You spoke disparagingly of some of their old coaches. They ain't been on the sideline in almost 30 years. That, to me, is a man that still harbors some sort of anger, and I just can't figure out where it's coming from. And that's all I want to do. But and let me tell you something. That's what I encourage you to do, because if you don't ever figure out where that anger comes from, it's going to come back. And I don't want it to come back. If you're in bad health like you say you are, you need to start getting things right, and so you can get some redemption on earth and in heaven.
I agree with you. But I don't think anybody realizes how much I love the University of Alabama. Their football team, their softball team, their coaches.
And
I get excited.
I know,
like
it brings you pleasure, and I understand that. But do you realize the same people that you're professing to love, the same organization, the same teams you're professing to love, you've hurt them, and you've besmirched their reputation. Do you ever? Do you think about that?
Yeah, and I heard what Nick Saban had to say about me.
What did Nick say about you? I'm sorry. What did Coach say about you?
He said that the Alabama fan base is the greatest fan base in the world, except idiots like Harvey Updyke.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, I just loved it.
Did you really?
How do you think it made me feel?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, because that's what I've been trying to get into this whole conversation is what drives your emotions. Why would you be driven to take such drastic actions against a university that's done nothing to you? So I'm trying to figure out how you feel. So when Nick said that, what did it do? What did it do to you?
Well, I mean that it definitely didn't make me feel good. There's a lot of Alabama fans that has no use for me. I realize that.
Well, I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them. And I want to help you. And I will give you my number. And third times that you want to call and talk off. And I'm not talking about on air. I'm talking about off air for help, or you just need somebody to talk to that's an Alabama fan, as big a fan as you, but has maybe a different perspective. I would love to be that person to help you get things put back in perspective, Harvey.
Yes, sir.
Harvey, there's an idea out there that this whole time, I'm going back 15, 20 years, that you were an operative within the Red Elephant Club, and that maybe you just went rogue when things went bad. Any truth to that?
No, I could never afford to get in the Red Elephant.
But you were the bag man. You were used to drop off money, car keys.
Wow.
Copies of tests.
Don't fall for it, Harvey.
Wow.
Don't fall for it, Harvey.
I'm just saying, Harvey, it's out there. It's out there.
Man.
Do you see?
Oh, man.
Do you see what I've been putting up with for 30 some odd years, Harvey? Do you see?
I don't know how you do it.
Well, I've poisoned 3 of his trees.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, Harvey.
Pee on them?
Harvey.
No,
Yes,
it wouldn't be.
Clemson just scored again.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
I think that makes it 67-12.
I think it was closer, something like 44-13.
No, it was way worse than that, Harvey. It was only 44-13. I disagree. I'm not a chemist, but I disagree.
You do not go up there and mess with Dabo, Harvey. You know he's an Alabama man.
His name is Dabo.
It's Dabo.
Hey,
have you ever been?
Let me tell y'all something.
Go ahead.
I didn't just start liking Alabama.
No, I know. I've done some research on you, Harvey.
And Dabo was a walk-on at Alabama.
Sure was.
And he was so poor that he had to sleep in the same bed with his mother.
You watched the 30 for 30 special, didn't you?
I watched a lot of stuff.
Yeah. You were on one of those 30-30 specials.
I think you.
What did you get for
watch
that?
that.
What did you get for that? By the way,
Wow.
When you were on that 30-30 special, what did you receive for that? Can you tell us one more time?
A Quiznos sandwich and a Pepsi Cola.
And
They came in my house.
and there was something else you got out of that.
Yeah, I got put my butt in jail for 6 months. Hey, look, you didn't let me finish a while ago.
You need to fire that attorney.
Guess what
Harvey.
else I got in jail?
What?
I went in there weighing a happy 242. I come out weighing 160.
Have you been in jail, DJ?
I have not.
Well, let me tell you what those nice people in I come out weighing the county they're in. Lee County. Lee County.
I think that's Collier County West over there in Georgia, isn't it?
No, it's Lee County.
You sure Auburn's not in Georgia?
The first day I was in there, this trustee and a guard came up there, and they was fixing to slide my eggs under the door. Well, that trustee grunted and got the biggest oyster he could get and spit in my food. And I looked at the guard and I said, "Hey, did you see that?" You know what he told me?
He didn't see nothing.
He said, "You don't want it, don't eat it."
Hey, snitches get stitches, Harvey. You know that.
Do what? Oh, okay.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
What's the jailhouse code in Lee County? What's the code over there? I mean, what's the gang that runs the unit over there? Were you part of that gang?
No.
You're probably outnumbered over there, aren't you?
I pretty well stayed to myself, but let me tell you something.
Did you do everybody's laundry over there?
I made a lot of money when I was in jail.
What is the does the term salad toss mean anything, Harvey?
I don't mean nothing to me. Nobody. Hey, let me tell you one thing. And I know there's mixed company on this thing. But nobody even tried to mess with my butt up. I've done a lot of things in my...
Harvey's not a vegetarian. He's a meat man only.
Wow.
Harvey,
y'all having a good time with me, aren't you?
Well, that's what life's about. You got to have a good time and laugh. If you don't, you go crazy and start killing things. Listen,
it's called rehabilitation.
Let me ask you this. Since you've done that, since you've been out and since you've watched Alabama football, have you been as mad as you were when you drove down 280 with that Spike D80 in your car? Have you had thoughts of doing that?
No, but all of my life, ever since I've been watching, Alabama plays, I have never turned it off except in one game.
What game was that?
That was when Alabama got beat by somebody, and then their bowl game or whatever it was, they played Utah.
Oh, that would have been in the. They played the Sugar Bowl, Utah and the Sugar Bowl, and they didn't show up and got hammered. I can't remember what year that was. That was
I couldn't watch that. Man.
Early 2000s, maybe.
I thought it was last year.
You think the kick sixes last year?
It was.
Why do y'all keep on bringing up kick six?
That's the only thing he's got to hang his hat on, Harvey.
It was just last year,
Wow.
Harvey.
You know they were 3-5 in the conference last year, and you'd have thought
Just
they won the
last year.
national championship. You would have thought they were Clemson, or at least
Same
this guy
colors.
over here is Clemson.
Same colors.
Yeah, a lot better team though, and coach.
Hey, are y'all going to send me some coupons to get some free Popeyes?
We are.
Absolutely.
We're going to do that.
What
No,
kind?
you're
You
not.
want the spicy or regular?
Spicy.
You
I'll
like?
tell you what let's
yeah,
do.
You like
No, I'll
Popeye's
tell
red
you.
green?
I'll
red
tell you
beans
what let's
and
do,
rice?
Harvey. I'll tell you what let's do. You meet me and T-Bone at Legion Field for the opener, Alabama and Duke. We'll get up there and tailgate at the Tide and Tiger, and we'll take in the game. I'll grab us a couple of 50-yard line tickets.
Why are you pushing Harv's buttons like that?
What?
Why are you pushing Harv's buttons like that?
Y'all play at Legion Field, right?
Yeah.
It's your home stadium.
You need his address. He just planted some flowers, Harvey.
We'll meet up there on the south parking lot. Go to Tide and Tiger, have a couple of cocktails, get us a couple of 40-yard line tickets, and watch what'll probably be a pretty good ball game. Don't sleep on Duke, Harvey.
We'll
They beat
We
Auburn
gonna
last
beat 'em
year.
like a
Basketball.
drum.
Don't sleep on Duke.
They're just mad because they put
We
them out
gonna-
of the Final Four.
Harvey, do you like Sister Schubert's rolls? Have you ever had any of those Sister Schubert's that you put in the oven and warm up?
Yes.
Well, just hold on. We're gonna send you. We're gonna send you as many of them as you want to eat.
No, you ain't got that many.
Oh, we know Sister, so we're gonna hook you
Okay.
up there.
Hey, you ain't no 160 eating all them rolls, Harvey. I'm seeing holes in your stories now. I ate one roll and I gained 40 pounds.
Well, here lately, I have been really losing a lot of weight. I am down to 160.
Harvey, let me ask you a question.
Have you been running with DJ at night?
I want to ask you this question, Harvey. This is Ken, by the way. Listen, so did you read up on the internet about Spike D80, or did you have some sort of experience with that prior to that, or how did you come about that?
I got on the internet and I researched it. That's
Kenwood.
why.
He answered that
That's
question.
why-
He is not a chemist.
Well,
That's why
he
when
did answer that
when
question.
I got arrested, let me tell you how slow the Auburn Police Department is. They came out to my little lake house and they wanted that computer of mine. And I made a mistake and left the cord plugged in the wall, but I hid the computer.
I'm shocked. I am shocked.
And there
That's
West
was
winning.
something like
despicable.
there was something like 15 cars out there. And there was all but 3 guys standing around me. We were standing outside around me next to my barbecue pit. I had this real fancy, not fancy, it was a welder made this big heavy duty barbecue pit, and I had it there. And there was 3 guys in my house going through everything.
Was the computer
Please.
in the barbecue pit?
Sir?
Was the computer in the barbecue pit?
Yes.
Please.
I'm not a detective.
And about-
I've never been to your house, Harvey, and I figured it out.
Harvey, please tell me you got tased.
No.
Did they tase you, Harvey?
Tased.
They didn't tase you?
Huh?
They didn't tase you?
No, I said,
They pepper spray you
yeah, I've been pepper sprayed.
by Auburn
Pepper
police?
sprayed.
Well, you had to go.
Sir?
You had to do that when you were law enforcement. So
Yeah,
let
when I
me get
went
this
through
straight,
the-
Harvey. You are
60% of the time, it works every time.
So you are a retired Texas Ranger. I'm sorry, retired Texas State Trooper, right?
Correct.
How many years you worked Texas?
Really not that long.
But you had many years in law enforcement. Let's say that.
Yeah, but I got my neck broke.
Okay, so you had law enforcement experience. You just went and did something that you knew was going to upset half the population of Alabama. And you hid the evidence in your barbecue grill on your back deck. Does that sound right?
I was actually in the side deck.
Okay, I'm sorry. That makes it better.
The lake house I was living in actually belonged to Wayne Barnes, my good friend.
Harvey?
Yes, sir.
I want to shift gears just for a second, and we can certainly come back to this. I want to go to the political realm for just a second. And I'm assuming that I can count on your support for Coach Tommy Tuberville, U.S. Senate.
Wow.
I'll get you a yard sign, maybe some cards to hand out for
hey,
us.
let me tell you about Tommy Tuberville.
But say what?
He can take those 6 thumbs and stick it up his whatever.
I don't think
that 6 meant that. I think that was misinterpreted on your part, Harvey. He was just saying
that. I watched it on television.
He was just saying hey to the camera. He was just saying hey to the camera, and he waved, and he accidentally stuck up another finger. It happens all the time.
Yeah. Hey, you got me mixed up with my brother.
Who's your brother, Roll?
Who's that little boy?
That was David singing. He does that on the side. So you had the evidence hid in your grill on your side deck.
Yes.
Okay. Which one figured out where it was at?
Nobody did.
So you mean to tell me
they arrested me anyway?
That T-Bone just put this together in 5 minutes, and we had 12 of Lee County's finest on scene, and they couldn't put it together? Is that what he just said?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Hey, and had the power cord dangling out of the outlet by the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Didn't you say it was by the refrigerator?
I don't remember where it was.
Yeah, you said refrigerator earlier, I thought.
The only thing they did to help me.
You better be glad I wasn't the prosecutor, Harvey. As quickly as I figured it out. If I'm not good of a detective, imagine how good of a prosecutor I would be.
Well, let me tell you something. We're doing this.
Speaking of that, this new one up there in Auburn, I read some quotes he said about you. Does that concern you any?
I ain't worried about that.
You're not.
I'll probably be dead the time I get up there.
Oh, let's don't talk like that. You got a lot more years to live.
I don't want no more.
Yeah, you do.
But I'll tell you something. When I went down there for that other trial, both of my attorneys graduated from Auburn.
In chemistry?
The judge was from Auburn. And, what's his name? Stanley? The male
was Dr. Murphy your teacher?
He was.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Stanley and the woman heard this. They put me in jail one time because they said I threatened some people at Lowe's Hardware.
Did you?
Have y'all heard that?
Did you?
No, all I told them.
What did you say to him?
The only thing I said, I went up there 4 different times to exchange lawnmower I just bought.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Well, they told me if they give me a trespass warning, and they said if you come back, we're gonna put you in jail. I said, well, I'll be back because my car was still up there. Well, that police officer, when his sergeant got there, all he did was lie. He said he threatened to come out here and kill everybody.
Did you?
Well, Stanley and what was her name? I can't think of a female's name, but she's supposed to be real famous too. They both heard that. They both heard. You know, it was on tape. That all I was going to do is come back and get my car. They wouldn't bring it up.
You've lost me, Harvey.
Anybody that.
You've lost me, Harvey. You've lost me.
Let's bring it back this way a little bit. Harvey, are you a college football fan or just a Alabama University fan?
It's University of Alabama.
No, I'm a SEC.
Okay. Would you agree?
I like them all except Auburn.
Would you agree that the greatest tradition within the SEC is the pregame flight by the Eagle at Auburn University?
Well, I saw it that day you ran into the window. I thought that was
one
pretty
for
cool.
Harvey.
Hey, Harvey, I hate to tell you, Clemson just scored again.
It's all reliable. It's all reliable. They'll be playing the kick six in a minute, Harvey.
Wow. Y'all having a great time, aren't you?
Harvey, you've got DJ on the ropes, Harvey. I'm going to tell you, not many people can do that, but you have DJ on the ropes. That eagle hitting the glass was classic, Harvey. Classic.
Yes. But, I'll tell you something that...
I love the fact that you woke up at 10 o'clock in the morning to watch it. That's when we were playing.
Listen, JP.
Mark Ingram said. Do you remember what Mark Ingram said?
What did Mark say?
Well, that's the guy that had the 40-yard fumble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did he say?
He didn't mean it, though.
He didn't mean it.
Most fumbles aren't intentional,
He
Harvey.
didn't mean it. What did he say?
He said, what is wrong with Auburn? They don't even know what they are. They think they are Eagle or they think they are Tiger. What are they?
Another one for Harvey. Come on.
Y'all are the Alabama
non-chemist.
Y'all are the Alabama Elephants. I mean, what does an elephant have to do with anything?
You got him on the ropes, Harvey.
You know why we got that name, don't you?
I don't know, and I don't care, Harvey.
Excuse me.
You got him wobbly, Harvey. He's dazed. Look at his eyes. Ken, can you see his eyes?
It's getting past my bedtime.
Oh, my gosh, Harvey.
Winning.
I can see right now, Harvey, you took care of yourself in jail just fine.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I did. I sold my autograph for a honey bun.
For a honey bun?
Yes.
You sold your autograph. Somebody gave you a honey bun for your autograph.
I guarantee you they're not going on the Christmas tree cakes.
Come on, man.
You traded out a signature for a honey bun.
Yes.
You couldn't get any bugler?
Do what?
You couldn't get a pack of tobacco? Some bugler?
Oh, Hercules,
I don't do Hercules. I have never smoked a cigarette in my life.
You smoked something.
No.
So, Harvey, I got one last question, and then we'll give David one last question, and then we'll wrap this up. We know it's feeding time and all that. So, when you got off air with Paul Feinbaum, Mitchell Streeter Burnham wanted to ask this question. When you got off the air with Feinbaum, were you listening to Feinbaum still? The first time you called in?
Yeah.
When he said that he didn't believe you did that, or that you were just, I can't remember how he phrased it, but essentially saying that maybe you were just a prank caller or something to that effect, what was your reaction? What did you think? Did you think about calling him back up?
Nah. I will never call him again.
Have you ever seen a grown man naked?
What prompted you to call him that time? I think I've asked you that twice. We got off on different tangents. What prompted you to call?
Because I was upset with Auburn because they cheated, and they cheated last year in basketball. Did you see where only 6?
What is basketball, Harvey? I have no idea what you're referring to.
The round ball.
Yeah.
Baseball? Yeah, I watch baseball and softball.
No, I'm talking about basketball.
Oh.
They come in something like 3rd or 4th place. Then about 2 months later, it come out that they was cheating.
Oh, come on, Harvey.
Keep we only beat y'all.
We only beat y'all 3 times.
Keep that shit.
No big deal.
Okay.
Got you a new coach. It's going to be a new year.
You know that
Harvey.
There have been plenty of allegations about Alabama doing things that we shouldn't be doing as well, right?
I'm going to clue you in.
You talking about the textbook stuff?
Well, I'm talking about several things in the last 20 years or 30 years.
They don't have to cheat.
Harvey, and I had to do this with Tony back during the spring.
No,
I'm
didn't.
going to do it with you. You could make an argument, a very, very strong argument, that in the calendar year 2019, that Alabama University has been the worst.
University of Alabama.
I'm sorry, has been the worst athletic program in the country. It started with that 63-9 shellacking by Clemson in mid-January. Then your basketball coach gets fired after getting blown out in the first round of the NIT again at home. And then you're one of 3 teams to miss the SEC baseball tournament again. So I don't know how this Duke game is going to shake out in a couple of weeks, but you can bet your bottom dollar I'll be at Legion Field with you and T-Bone to watch it if you'll come.
Well, I won't be there.
What if we fly you up, Harvey? Or David drives down to get you? Y'all could have a lot to talk about on that 8-hour trip from Louisiana. Would you ride with DJ to Legion Field to watch Alabama?
I want to get the game moved to Legion Field. Let's go 50-50. Duke 50, Bama 50.
Well, they're not playing football anymore at Legion Field.
Since when?
It's been a couple of days anyway.
Been a minute. Is that what you're saying?
It's been a minute, ain't it, Harvey?
Is the Tide and Tiger still there?
Ask y'all something.
You know who ruined that, don't you, Harvey?
You
know who ruined that, don't you, Harvey? Do you know who ruined that?
Who?
Patrick Fain Die. If not, we'd still be playing up at the Gray Lady.
I do think it's gutless, really. And I'm being honest here. I think it's gutless that we played Duke in basketball this year, and y'all were choosing to play them in football. I mean, that's funny to me.
We're smart.
That's funny.
That's why we have the weakest schedule in the conference.
That's funny.
Because we're smart.
Hey, if
that right, Kane?
If I come out there, can I bring my dog with me?
What kind of dog is it?
I just got me a dog.
What kind?
I rescued her.
No.
She's an Australian Shepherd.
If you were a true Alabama fan, it'd be a purebred dog.
What'd you name it? Rammer Jammer?
What do you mean a purebred? She is purebred.
Us Alabama fans are purebred, right? Isn't that why you?
About that
isn't that why you did what you did? Because you thought that Alabama was better than what happened to them?
I didn't think. I know.
Well, then why you got a mutt? You need a purebred. Get a purebred, and we'll come get you. We're going to send you some Sister Schubert rolls, and we're going to call you. We want to have you on again, Harvey.
Well,
anything else?
Without some compensation, I know I'm not coming back on.
We'll compensate you.
This is taking a lot out of me.
I can tell.
Me too, Harvey. Me too.
I don't know what.
I thought this was cathartic for you.
I don't know what I have done to deserve all this.
What, us talking to you?
Don't tell me it's because y'all like me.
I love you, Harvey. You're one of God's children.
I wish you wouldn't love me quite as much.
Well, I love you. You're one of God's children.
Okay.
And you're an Alabama fan.
Okay.
So I love you more than I love DJ. But I still love DJ.
Yeah, my ex-wife is calling again.
I told you. Text her.
What's that?
Message. Text her this message. New phone, who dis? See what she says.
I'm not going to say anything to her.
Well, you better take it because you may owe her money, and Lord, we don't want you.
No,
in jail.
I don't owe her money.
Where does she live at now?
Lives in Walker, Louisiana. Let me
you'll
tell
be
you
splitting
what
time
I did.
between Lee County and Walker, Louisiana, if you don't pay that child support, Harvey.
Hey, let me tell you what I did. For 5 years. For 5 years, and I can prove this. I paid her car note and her insurance. It cost me a little over $500 a month for her to keep it. so she wouldn't let it go and it go on Megan's credit because we had to get Megan's name. Cause
Well, I've got to know this. What'd the license plate say?
wow.
Harvey, what? So your ex-wife cost you $500 a month.
Yes.
Those trees
And she
didn't cost you a dime.
And what?
The trees didn't cost you a dime and did nothing to you.
Oh, you know it's costing me money. Cost me $200 a month.
It didn't before you killed them. So you had one thing costing you $500 a month, one thing costing you nothing.
Well, let me tell y'all something. I have told them a lot of times that I didn't mean it. I told them I didn't mean it.
Still got.
I kind of don't believe you after this conversation, Harvey. I want to.
Wow.
You're going to have to call in again and convince me that you really mean it because you've been all over the board in this interview. At first, I was believing you. Now I kind of don't.
Well, hey, when we first started, what did I tell you?
I don't know. That was like 6 hours ago.
Something about not being a
I
chemist.
told y'all I wouldn't lie unless I just had to.
Well, how many times did you have to lie on this show?
Oh, I haven't lied at all tonight.
Okay. And we
not
appreciate
at all.
that, Harvey.
I'll tell you like my grandmother used to tell me. The truth will stand when the world's on fire.
Amen.
Think about that. I have no reason to lie tonight. You know, I'm going back down there in October, and they're going to have to come get me because I can't drive.
So what do you think is going to happen in October when you show back up to Lee County?
I don't know, but I'm going to surprise them.
I got.
I'm not going to open my mouth.
I want to shift gears one more time.
So it'll be a surprise if you don't say something, or is it going to surprise them with what you tell them? I'm trying to figure out what you just said. Now you said you're going to surprise them.
I'm not going to say anything to nobody except what I have to do in court.
And that'll be a surprise to them.
Well, I mean, I got a big mouth.
I
like to run it.
Harvey, T-Bone here tonight has kind of been a somewhat of a clinical psychologist.
Yeah.
And I want to employ an exercise here if we can. Have you ever heard of word association? I'm going to give you something, and I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind, and Tony can kind of interpret that and see where we're going with it. All right, so if I were to say,
don't think, Harvey. Don't think. Clear your mind.
Let me tell y'all something real quick.
Okay.
You know that they put me on mental hospital 2 or 3 different times, don't you?
I'm shocked.
Everybody's been there. Listen, clear your mind.
Right,
clear your mind. Think about my thoughts. First thing that pops in your mind. Ready?
All right. You ready, Harvey?
I'm ready.
Go crazy, Cadillac. Go crazy.
What's on your mind?
True.
They're not going to keep them off the field tonight.
First thing that comes to your mind.
That's what I thought.
I tell you what, that's a little bit over my pay grade.
All right, well, that's going to wind it up.
He does not listen to the Auburn broadcast in all fairness. Thank you, Harvey. We're going to call you back, Harvey. Can we do the show in your living room one day, Harvey?
You know when you can do it in my living room?
When?
The 4th of never.
See you, Harvey.
Not a chemist.
Bye.
Man, season 2, show 1, off and running.
It was a week. We'll try better next time.
But saying that to say this, and you said this when we were getting this show kind of formatted out, this is the not so serious show for the serious fan.
Exactly.
We love our schools. We're going to go back and forth throughout the season, however it plays out. But at the end of the day, it's just not that big a deal.
It's really not.
It's not.
And that's what I wanted to try to get across to him.
Yeah.
And was probably not doing a great job at doing it. No. We need to get Dr. D in here next time we get him to call.
He's something else. He's clinical.
It was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It really was. And thank you, Ken, for efforting and getting that on. I'm going to tell you something, the 4 or 5 people that are listening. You won't get that on Feinbaum. You won't get that on ESPN. You won't get, what was that, an hour and a half? Hour and 20 minutes?
I hadn't even looked at it.
It's 8:46.
I'm going to say this. The 4th of Never was pretty good. That was good.
I was about to say he had your big butt, but you ain't big anymore. He had your butt on the ropes. You know that's going to give me a lot of ammunition for years and years.
Now I got to ask this question because I haven't heard it yet, and I know there are people that are waiting. Before we get out of here, you know what's got to happen.
Yep. I'm pulling it up now.
We've got to have the, let's see, the top 5.
I'm ready. I've got it.
And there was always some theme songs. Here we go.
Getting into the top 5. I'm a fair guy. This is a fluid situation. Unlike other pollsters, mine is not on having allegiance one way or another towards a team or having a bias towards a conference.
Sure, it's not.
So the top 5 this week will not be the top 5 next week in all probability. It's fluid. This is not necessarily the 5 best teams in the season. This is right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Number 1, and it's a mythical championship because it's not settled on the field. They refuse. College football is the only sport that won't settle on the field. But since they did win a piece of the mythical championship, I have Clemson at number 1. Mm-hmm. They have the best quarterback in the country, best wide receiver in the country, best running back in the country.
He is a good quarterback.
And maybe the best coach in the country.
I agree with that.
Clemson, number 1.
Maybe second best coach.
Number 2 is my 2-time defending regular season champion, UCF.
I knew it was coming.
I'm just telling you, until somebody can beat those guys on the field.
Well, y'all can't.
But we didn't.
No, we didn't.
That's right. We didn't. UCF comes in at number 2. Number 3, once again, preseason top 5. Number 3.
They're going to have the Heisman winner too, right?
Number 3, yes, they are. Yeah. They had the second best quarterback in the country.
They had the second best quarterback on Alabama last year.
Jalen Hurts in Oklahoma, number 3.
Oh.
You know, a bump in the road here or there, them and Bama meet up in the Peach Bowl, that could be a hot ticket.
Oh, gracious.
But Oklahoma, number 3. Now, I want you to hear me out on 4 and 5. Regardless of who wins, and we'll make our predictions next week as they get ready to kick off. Regardless of whoever wins the game, either Oregon or Auburn.
Not even close to
even Oregon or Auburn will have the best win of the year after week 1. They will. If Oregon beats Auburn, that's a big win.
Kind of like that Washington win was.
Is it right? That's right. And then we moved it to the week after that. I'm just talking about week 1. I'm not talking projecting anything, strength of schedule, whatnot. So I have Oregon 4 and Auburn 5 in the first poll.
When's the last time either one of those teams?
But I want you to understand this. And this goes back, and I'm saying I'm a fair guy. Whoever loses that game falls way back. I mean, way back.
Well, I think here's why I like the Oregon-Auburn game.
Okay.
Your top 5 is whatever. Is because Oregon has revenge on their mind. Because that guy was clearly down on the play, and it cost them a national championship.
Well, let me tell you why Oregon has to win that game. Because there's nobody in the Pac-12 to beat and build a resume with later. They have to win that game. That makes them a little more dangerous. Auburn, if they lose the Oregon game, and they might, if they ran the table, where do you think they're going to be at the end of the year?
Auburn's not going to lose to Oregon.
I'm just saying, if they lose to Oregon, they have a great conference to make it up in. Oregon does not have that.
It's pronounced Oregon. You're not from California. You're from South Alabama. Okay. If they lose to Oregon, it's going to be because Stevie Nicks' son has thrown 3 interceptions at least.
Look, we're going to break down that game next week.
I'm just telling you.
We're moving on. We got Florida. We got Miami this week. This Saturday, they're going to kick things off. If Miami beats Florida, that's a good win. That would give Miami consideration moving into next week.
Do you think Miami will beat Florida?
I do not, because I like Florida. I like Coach Mullen. But I think Coach Diaz is the right guy for Miami. I do. They got a good defense. Miami's defense is pretty good. Offensively,
what Mullen's going to run on offense,
I like Coach Mullen.
with the Stallions that he's going to have on offense, the same offense he run at Mississippi State that would give you fits. And he's going to have a defense now that they had good defense at Mississippi State, But at Florida, he's going to be able to get those first rounders.
I'm a fan of Dan Mullen. I'm a fan.
He is going to start making serious waves in the East, and he's going to start this year doing it.
How do you have the East playing out?
I've got Georgia winning the East.
I agree.
I got Georgia winning.
I agree.
Because of the quarterback, I think.
They're loaded.
He is a Peyton Manning type player to me when you watch him. He has all the intangible qualities. He's a better athlete than Peyton Manning was, but what I mean is he seems to get it and have that innate ability that can't be coached, at least what I've seen, and he's young, very young, extremely young. So that puts him there for me, but I think Florida, I don't like Felipe Franks. Like I said, he's built like a relief pitcher.
I've got Florida too as well, by the way, and we didn't do these together. I got Florida too. Yeah, I love Coach Mullen.
I think once, and you know, Mullen's a magician. He may get in there and he may turn that guy into the next Tebow down there. But and he's got the ability to do that. Franks is pretty fast and he's pretty big. I just don't know that he can run the ball the way Mullen's offense demands him to run it for a whole season and be successful and him be healthy. So I think Florida's 3 or 4 years away. They get one more recruiting cycle in and a good stud type quarterback, like a Tebow type, that he's going to go get. You can watch from Mullen. They'll be in the SEC championship game pretty often. Third, you want to go ahead and do them all?
Yeah, do the whole league. Yeah, who you got?
I got Missouri third.
I do too. You somehow sent somebody a plan them on. Yeah, I got Missouri 3 right here.
This is shocking.
Okay, keep going.
South Carolina.
I've got Tennessee.
I got Tennessee next.
I've got South Carolina next.
I think South Carolina's going to be 3-5 in conference, 6-6.
I don't believe in Coach Boone. I really don't. Not as a head football coach. I just don't believe in him. I don't think he's that good. If you fail at Florida like he failed, that's
I think Tennessee will have a better overall record.
Yeah.
I just think they'll stumble somewhere in the SEC.
So we had them flip-flopper right there.
Where South, but I want to believe in Pruitt because of our connection through our connection to him.
Yep.
Then I got Kentucky and then Vandy.
I have the same way. All right, run down the West real quick. We're up against a hard break, so go ahead.
Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M, Auburn, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Arkansas. I think Auburn have the same record they had last year.
Listen to this. I've got Auburn, LSU, Texas A&M, and Alabama all 6-2 in conference play. I've got all of them 6-2. And I'm going to show you how I have it shaked out. I've got Auburn losing to Georgia and Florida. Going to the swamp middle of the season, it's just that doesn't bode well for us, in my opinion. I've got LSU losing to Auburn and Texas A&M. I've got A&M losing to Auburn and Alabama, and I have Alabama losing to Auburn and LSU. So when you break through the tiebreakers, Auburn comes out of the West. I got all 4 teams going 6-2. We'll see.
I think he may be a year, maybe too early on that.
We'll see.
But I do think Nix is going to be a good quarterback. I saw him his junior year when they played with Tumpka.
Let me ask you this.
He's good.
Are you concerned that Coach Saban has not named his starting quarterback yet?
No.
Okay. Just saying. Coach Malzahn named his. We win.
When you get to the point where you have to name your starting quarterback, it kind of means you don't have one. Well, that's it.
Point taken. That's it. You did okay, man.
Appreciate it.
Tell you what, season 2, episode 1 in the books. We're going to be here every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Once again, we want to thank Josh Godwin and Popeye's Chicken for their sponsorship of this program. We also apologize. And Larry Murphy and Camp 31 and Danny Cottrell at Bruton Medical Center Pharmacy. Certainly want to thank Ken James, executive producer. He's pushing the buttons. He's twisting the knobs. It doesn't happen without his efforts. T-Bone, thanks for being here tonight. Yes, safe travels going back. I think you were going back tonight.
Yes.
You're welcome to stay if you want to.
Yes.
If you do, be safe. Everybody have a great weekend. Get back in here with us next Thursday, 7 o'clock. War Eagle.
Roll Tide. We'll try harder next time.